Have you ever wondered how many tree and wood type there are in Minecraft? Where to find them, how to grow them at your base, and what you can actually do with them? One video, everything you need to know about trees and wood in Minecraft. Let's start from the very beginning. Where do these trees actually live? There are 11 tree types in the overworld. Let's go through every single one. Oak is the most common tree in the game. You'll find it in forests, plains, meadows, swamps, and even wood badlands. Though in woody badlands, they only appear as small trees on the high plateaus, and in regular swamps they are shorter and covered in vines, but they are still normal oak trees. There are also one more tree that uses oak logs, the Azalea tree. Spot one on the surface, and there's always a large cave underneath. Unlike oak trees, Azalea trees usually sit all alone, just one lonely bush on the surface, and they follow completely different growing rules from normal trees. We'll come back to that later. Mangrove trees are one of the most unique structures in the game. They grow directly in shallow water, and their giant proper roots create tangled walkways you can actually walk through. You'll find them in mangrove swamps, a warmer, muddier version of the regular swamp. Birch is easy to recognize from a distance thanks to its white and black bark. It mostly generates in birch forests. In old-growth birch forests, there's also a taller variant that can reach around 14 blocks high, much taller than normal birch. Spruce is the cold wet tree. You'll find it in snowy, mountainous, and taiga biomes. Old-growth spruce trees are some of the tallest natural generated trees in the overworld, sometimes growing over 30 blocks tall. These giant trees also convert nearby dirt and grass into puddle, which is why old-growth taiga forests have that dark forest floor. Jungle biomes contain several different jungle tree variants. Some are only a few blocks tall, while the giant jungle tree can rise more than 30 blocks into the sky with massive 2x2 trunks dominating the canopy. The smaller ones also grow cocoa pods on their trunks. Bamboo grows naturally alongside jungle trees. Technically, it isn't a tree, but since it has its own wood set, it still counts for this video. Acacia is exclusive to savannas. The flat canopy and the diagonal trunk make it one of the easiest trees to recognize instantly. It's also the only natural source of orange-colored wood. Dark oak trees only grow in dark forests. Their canopies are so dense that hostile mobs can sometimes spawn underneath even during the daytime. Every dark oak trees grow with a 2x2 trunk, and giant mushrooms also generate throughout the biome. Pale oak grows in Pale Garden, or rather, it is the Pale Garden. It's the newest tree in the game, and as the name suggests, everything from logs to the leaves is pale and grayish-white. It's the only tree that gives you actual white wood. Cherry grows generally at mid to high elevation near mountains, and they are harder to miss. Pink blossom petals constantly drift down from the trees, and yes, it gives you pink wood. Those are 11 trees you can find in the overworld. Some of them can also generate with bee nests attached, specifically oak, birch, cherry, and mangrove trees. Now you know where everything lives. Let's talk about how to actually get their saplings and everything else trees can drop. For most trees, saplings come from leaves. When you chop the logs, the leaves lose their connection to the tree and slowly decay on their own. As they disappear, each leaf block has a chance to drop a sapling. You don't need to break every leaf yourself. It's usually faster to just chop the logs and let the leaves decay naturally. But if you want the drops immediately, you can break the leaves by hand. Drop rates are the same either way. Axes are the fastest way to chop logs. Hoes are the fastest way to break leaves. And if you want to collect the leaf block itself rather than just the drops, you need shears. No shears, no leaf block. One more thing about sheared leaves. Unlike natural leaves, player-placed leaves never decay, they stay permanently. Leaves can also drop sticks occasionally, a nice little bonus while clearing a forest. An oak and dark oak leaves are the only two in the game that can drop apples. Mangrove works a bit differently. Instead of dropping from leaf decay, propagules grow directly underneath mangrove leaves as their own separate hanging blocks. You can wait for them to fully grow and break them by hand, or use bone meal on the leaves to generate new propagules instantly. Bamboo is the simplest of all. Just break any stalk and it drops itself. Break the bottom segment and the entire stalk comes down at once. Azalea is the most unusual one. Besides dropping Azalea bushes, their version of a sapling from Azalea leaves. You can also find Azalea bushes directly in the large cave below. If you can't find one, grab a moss block from the cave, use bone meal on it, and the dirt and stone around it will convert into moss blocks, with the chance the Azalea bushes will pop up on top. If you need a sapling type you haven't found yet, Wandering Trader can help. They randomly sell up to 9 sapling types, including Mangrove Propagules, all for 5 emeralds each. They also sell moss blocks equal to Azalea bushes. Villages in different biomes can also have matching saplings in their chests. Savanna villages carry acacia saplings, taiga villages carry spruce saplings, and plain villages carry oak saplings. Now that you have saplings, let's start growing them. Plant sapling on any dirt type block. Make sure it has light. Some light works, and so does artificial light like torches on the ground, and make sure there's enough space above it for the tree to grow. After a while, it will grow on its own. You can also use bone meal on a sapling to speed things up, and it will even work without any light. The one exception is the Azalea bush. It will never grow into an Azalea tree on its own. You have to use bone meal on it manually. You may have noticed that a single dark oak sapling never seems to grow, even with bone meal, even when every condition is met. That's because a different tree requires different numbers of saplings to grow. There are 3 groups. The first group only needs 1 sapling. The second group requires exactly 4 saplings. The third group can use either 1 or 4. Check the table on screen for the full breakdown. Dark oak and pale oak must be planted as 4 saplings arranged in a 2x2 square, like this, before they'll grow. Mangrove trees and spruce trees can go either way. 1 sapling grows a small tree, while 4 saplings in a 2x2 arrangement will produce a massive tree up to 30 blocks tall. And the 2x2 spruce will also convert nearby dirt and grass into podzol as it grows. Bamboo is most different of all. Break any segment and everything above it drops, while the remaining stalk keeps growing. Up to 16 segments tall. It's the fastest growing plant in Minecraft. When harvesting, leave the bottom segments intact and it will keep regenerating, giving you a steady supply. That covers everything about Overworld trees. Now, let's step through the Nether portal. The Nether has its own trees, or rather, fungi. These are the huge warp fungus and huge crimson fungus, found in warp forest and crimson forest biomes respectively. Small warped fungi and small crimson fungi generate naturally on the floor of their matching biome. You can also get them by using bone meal on Nillion. It causes small fungi to appear on nearby blocks. They can be planted on dirt type blocks and Nillion, but to actually grow them into huge fungi, they must be planted on the matching type of Nillion. Warped fungus on warped Nillion, crimson fungus on crimson Nillion, and then have bone meal applied manually. And just like Azalea bushes in the Overworld, they'll never grow on their own. Bone meal is required every time. Once they grow into huge fungi, there's also a chance they'll generate with cerulites attached. Just like overworld trees, axes are the most efficient way to harvest their stone. Unlike overworld leaves, world blocks don't decay on their own, and their strength is much higher than that of leaves, but you can even collect them barehanded, though hoes are faster. While the whole fungi is fire resistant, allowing them to grow in the nether. And that's all 30 trees and fungi covered. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do with all this wood. You already know logs can be crafted into planks and sticks, which form the basis for all kinds of items. But logs can also be crafted into wood, a block with bark on all 6 sides. Every 4 logs give you 3 wood blocks. Stone works the same way. Place a log or wood block on the ground and right-click it with an axe to strip it. Stripped logs can be used to craft hanging signs and shelves. Both stripped logs and stripped wood can be used to craft smokers, which cook food twice as fast. Outside of those, they are mostly decorative, not that different from the unstriped versions in practice. Logs can also be smelted into charcoal, which works as a temporary substitute when you are out of coal. You may have already noticed that wood-based items fall into 2 categories: those affected by wood color, chests, barrels, crafting tables, and many other items that uses log or planks in their recipe are not affected by wood type. You can even mix different types of log or planks when crafting them. And those that aren't, the following items to follow the color of wood used, and can only be crafted using one consistent wood type: shelf, hanging sign and signs, doors, and trapdoors, bolts, wooden buttons and pressure plates, fences and fence gates, stairs and slabs. Finally, bamboo is a special case. It needs to be crafted into bamboo blocks first before it can be used like other wood types, and bamboo blocks only yield 2 planks when broken down, compared to the standard 4 for other logs. And that's everything for this one. Thanks for watching. If you found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.